Hello, my name is Sanjay. I am the co-founder and CEO of AskSed. And today I have with me Dinesh Sharma, who is the co-founder and CTO of AskSed. Dinesh carries more than 2 decades of deep tech architecture experience of building large-scale mission-critical applications for enterprise customers, and really the best man to talk about technology and the advancements in the technology area. I think we are starting the first of our series, Curious Much Conversations, and it is all about sharing with you all some of the learnings that we are getting from the last 2 years of the startup experience, where we are really trying to build a world-class retail AI solution. So Dinesh, as far as today's conversation goes, see, I have a very specific question, and that is, like, on one side we all know that these large and tech enterprises as well as educational institutes are spending humongous amount of money, time for the advancements of AI, right? To really take AI into the next level, such that the world can start consuming the benefits of this technology, which is great. But then, when I speak to enterprise customers on the other side, be it a Fortune 500 big fashion customer or CPG customer, or even be a medium scale business, one common theme I notice is they find it very challenging to adopt this technology and make it part of their business, make it a mainstream into their business where they see benefits coming out of it right away, right? And therefore, my question, Dinesh, is that what is missing? Why is there this gap? And would like to hear your thoughts around how you feel about this entire space.
Yeah, so if you look at the AI space, very interesting one, right? It has evolved over last few years, and a lot of interesting cases has been solved through it. And there are a lot of offerings which are making it very easy for enterprises really to adopt AI and implement in their ecosystem. But when I see the adoption challenges in enterprises, I see that across three dimensions. I call them DDT. DDT is domain, data, and time.
Wow. Okay.
So when we say domain, there is a lot of information available, models available, services available, offerings available from various organizations in the space of AI, but most of them are generic in nature, or they are bit more specific in a domain. But what a business wants, what an enterprise wants, they really want something which can be adopted in the context of their business.
True.
So it means that taking out something which is generic enough, but making that specific to that business, that itself is a journey for organizations, and they are struggling to walk that path.
Yeah.
Second, we say data, which is the second dimension. Everyone talks about AI needs a lot of data, right? Enterprises also have a lot of data. But the use cases that an enterprises are trying to solve, do they have a relevant data? It's not only about data, but it's about relevant data for the problem that they are trying to solve. Do they have that data, right? And collecting that data and making that data available itself is a humongous exercise that we see enterprises needs to do before they really take a step towards AI adoption. And the third one is time. Time is always scarce, and any AI initiative that enterprise takes time. And then it's always a question in the business, in the head of the business owners. I'm investing so much, what kind of outcomes that I'm going to see, right? So gone are the days when we used to do 8 months of development and then see, oh, it failed, and we say, okay, we failed, we'll do something else. This is a time of lean development. It means something needs to be done quickly, figure it out if we are getting value out of it. If yes, go ahead. If not, then drop it. There is no point in walking that path. So if you see, if I see from my experience and whatever we have gone through over the last 2 years, I would say DDT, domain, data, and time. I think that's what really are the friction points within any enterprise who wants to adopt AI.
Wonderful. I think I love the acronym DDT. So let's dwell on the second D. You talked about data, right? And you talked about relevant data. So help me understand. So, today if you are saying that enterprises struggle to get relevant data for the use case that they are solving or trying to solve, uh, what options exist for these enterprises? So are we saying that you have to wait till the time the relevant data comes from some place, either you generate or I don't know. So probably wait, or is there something that enterprises can do today itself to circumvent this challenge and get started?
Yeah, so there is a pattern that different organizations or different enterprises would take based upon their maturity in terms of AI adoption and how far they have traveled.
Sure.
So we'll have type of enterprises who have lot of relevant data and they are solving interesting use cases.
Probably very few.
Very few. Google, Facebook, they have plenty of data. We are providing that data to them. So yeah, they are certainly able to solve interesting cases. But when we look at enterprises, it is always a challenge to get relevant data. Now, if there is no relevant data, should we wait or should we collect? I mean, I have seen AI initiatives within organizations where the partners will come and then say, let's start data collection. And that's a 6 months exercise. And once we have it, then we do the model, we tune and we deploy. I mean, we are not living in those ages, right, where we do for so long.
True.
So it means that we need to find ways to short circuit it. So really we see as if there is a value in doing or experimenting what we are trying to experiment with that. So largely I've seen two kind of approaches. People will say, okay, I don't have data, but I have some sample data. So let me generate data, all right? And we have seen over the years data which is generated in lab works perfectly well in labs, but when you hand it out in the hands of the real user, it fails. So yeah, it may give you some leeway, but it's not going to solve the real problem that you are trying to solve.
It's not going to make it mainstream.
It's not going to make it mainstream. So what is then the option left? So that's where I think it is very important that in the AI space we need to have some specialized service providers who choose certain domains and build those models that are relevant in the domains. So if you take an example that yeah, we are working in a specific marathon shoe, there is a brand who only works on marathon shoes, then having a fashion model will not help. But if there is a model which is knowing anything and everything about shoes, if I take that and if I take a little data of this specialized company and train this and make it specific, it will start producing results, right? So we call in the AI, this is a transfer learning. There is a pre-trained model. We provide our data sets to that model and then we get what is relevant in our business or enterprises context. Now that is, the transfer learning is the base for all the offerings. So whoever is offering, everyone is doing that. But I think the challenge there is it is very generic and we provide our specific data, it becomes from very generic to generic. It still doesn't become specific to the business and it still doesn't solve the specific problems that business is trying to solve. So I think that's where the industry need to move from generic to specific, having those base models, and then enterprises using those base models to customize or specialize quickly into their domain with a lesser amount of data, and then start seeing as to how those AI implementations are driving value for them.
Wonderful. So I think we'll end it here. Now, just to summarize for the audience as far as this conversation goes, I think what essentially Dinesh is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that at the end of the day you should not wait, because that waiting game will never be over. But then there are these predefined, already trained models, like what you say, transfer learning. You take them and then figure out ways and means to really go down deep into your vertical and make these models super specialized for your industry, for your products, for your business. That way, I think there is an element of short circuiting that can happen, and you should be able to see the business outcomes very, very quickly at a very rapid pace, and then build on it incrementally from there. Right? That's essentially.
Yeah. Once that base model is done, then the beauty of AI is the self-learning kicks off. So if you have really achieved up to a 60%, 65% of accuracy with this base model, then moving to 70 to 80 is only a journey. It only takes time, but I think that's a really that moves very pretty quickly. But it's a jump start in the right direction, I would say.
Wonderful, perfect. So thank you so much. I hope you liked this conversation. I hope there is some takeaway for all of you to go back to your own organizations and start thinking And again, feel free to give us your feedback, whether you see there is relevance in what we spoke about today. Just reach out to us on our email address curiousmuch@asksid.ai, or even just put in a comment in the post below, and we will be very happy to start a conversation. So thank you so much, and talk to you soon in the next edition. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take
Thank
care.
you.